Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for Truth show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. It's a pleasure to be back with you again tonight. And there's a lot going on. Much is going on, in the Middle East. And much needs to be resolved, resolution. That's what we're looking for. Not more war, not more turmoil, conflict, resolution. And so tonight's show is about that exact solution, what we're looking for. And we have a special guest who's dedicated his life to helping mankind. And Buddha, if you will, let's put his pictures up on the screen as I introduce Bishop Lubin Moise, born in Port Salut, Haiti, growing up in a family deeply rooted in the church. His father, Pastor Lornese Moise, and mother, First Lady Amentha, instilled in him a strong foundation in faith and service. In 1980, Bishop Lubin migrated to the United States and began his journey of ministerial service, serving as an associate pastor at the Mount Bethel Baptist and Lakeside Baptist churches. His dedicated leadership skills led him to San Angelo, Texas, where he served at St. Paul's Baptist Church. His passion for ministry led him to pastor at various churches in Texas, including Brown Christian Methodist, Payne Chapel Christian Methodist, and Colorado City churches. He moved to Brooklyn to serve as the South Ozone Park Methodist Church. And, from there, Bishop Lubin's commitment to serving the community continued unwavering to the founding of the Mount Sinai Baptist Church in Wichita Falls, Texas. In 1997, he pursued further theological education and became consecrated as a bishop. In 2004, he relocated to New York City to serve as a pastor and continue his services. He later came to be recognized with the Drug Free World Award and, continued his great work. He continued in Haiti, in Brooklyn, and ministering people of all ages and all nationalities. He's been married to his wife Susie for 33 years and have 7 children and 16 grandchildren, a prolific family, happy family, and recently celebrated his 50th anniversary of ministering so many different people, so many different cultures. And we're very lucky, and we want to bid a warm welcome to Bishop Lubin Moise to A Time for Truth show. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop Dr. Ben. And I am glad to be here with you. and to be able to be part of your Time for Truth show. And I know I've been with you in the show many times, and I'm glad that you brought me back to share some of the great things that have been happening between you and I, and also the work we've been doing in the world. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and it's a very important time that we get again together. You know, I wanted to first start with your life, and because there's so much you have to share with our viewers. When you were a young man, I'm curious, what were your dreams?
Well, my dream was to be a great leader, a great servant, wanted to serve people, to make people's life better. Even started early. By the time I was in 8th grade, I had after-school program, on an after-school program, and I remember there was a big mango tree, and I cleaned underneath of it, and I made benches, and it was by my house, in the front of my house, and every summer. And I called the children in the neighborhoods, and I have after-school program with them, have fun with them. I just felt that it was a great thing for me to do, to make a difference in the life of those young people.
Absolutely, and you have so many lives. And I wanted to ask you, because I see your parents were quite, dedicated themselves. Tell us a little bit about their influence on your life.
Oh, my mom and my dad, they were super. I follow after my dad. They were community-minded people. Everybody in the community where we live knew them. If you have problems, whatever the problem is, you come to my house, you would not be turned down. My dad, when he goes to the church with my mom, he spent all his time and try to help people, counsel people, and help people with whatever their needs they have. So sometimes he be coming home late on Sundays and the other on the weekdays as well. They were making a great impact in my life. And I remember one time I said that when I grew up, I want to be just like my dad. And my mom was fitted for my dad because she was very passionate, compassionate, caring. They didn't have no enemy. Any child you will ask for, Miss Law, they come Law, Madam Law, Miss Law, or Pastor Law, any children will tell you where they are, where they live. They impact so many lives in their community. And I wanted to be just like my dad, my mom.
Those are beautiful, role models that you had, and beautiful upbringing. And, this past weekend, you celebrated 50-year anniversary of your life as a minister, as a bishop, helping communities. How does it feel when you realize you've done it so many years now?
Well, I just thank God for the strength that He gave me, and life and the protection, because for those 50 years there have been many milestones. It has not been sweet and honey. There has been some ups and downs, and even sometimes I found myself in a dangerous situations where unsafe area, unsafe Haiti, unsafe community, Texas, getting rid of drugs and so on, gang and so on and so forth. But when I look back, I said, God, you're wonderful. You've been so good for me. To me, if it has not been for you on my side, I wouldn't been able to touch many lives that I have touched. Many people that have blessed me and touched me because I didn't get here by myself. Those 50 years has not been by myself, but there are people, stranger that has been on my side, that supported me throughout those years, that encouraged me. I remember there was a family in Big Spring, Texas, when I came in, that just took me under their wings. They called me their son. They do anything for me. So those people impacted my life, and many, many, many others. It was so much I couldn't even tell all at one time. But I just thank God that I'm still strong. I have a challenge in my eyesight, but that does not stop me from doing the work of God, making a difference. And one of the things that encouraged me and keep me moving is Mr. Elwin Hubbard. As I read his letters, he says that I work solely for the greater goods, to the greater numbers of my dynamics. When I begin by studying the 8 dynamics, I see the connection, the decisions, one connected, one can be related to each other to have a better world, a better community, a better planet, and to know, to have the spirituality and to know God. And I just say, thank you, Mr. Elwin Hubbard. And thank you, John Carmichael, for introducing me to Scientology.
Absolutely. He was a great man, John Carmichael. And, you know, he did so much as you have. And it's really, when we look at what's going on in our world, that's why I think it's so important that we have a man like Bishop Lubin Moise on the show. Because if you really look at it, what are we lacking in the world? We're lacking the compassion that he exudes, that he exemplifies, his empathy, his care. And when we look at the conflicts, when we look at the wars, when we look at the killing that's going on, we need to start reflecting as human beings on what we really should be producing, as he has for 50 years. And I want to ask you, Bishop Lubin, why is it that you've been such a strong proponent of this education program, this nonprofit education program called the Foundation for a Drug-Free World Education Program?
Well, I was in Texas, pastors in Wichita Falls, Texas. There were so many young men, young women that were involved in drugs, hassle to make end meet. There were no job. They have no educations. They have records. But the law will arrest them and put them in jail. And so there was a 9-year-old girl dropped out of the school doing prostitutions in that community. When I look at those young men, I look at my nephew, I look at my son, I said something had to be done. We have to help them. And I was able to, with the help of the community, people that love me, from our congregations, we put them together, we clean up the area. We didn't send those young boys to the jails, but we rehabilitate them. We make it possible for them. So I saw what the drug does. It destroys. It takes all your good sense, flush them in a commode. Your dream is wipe them away. So when I come in contact with Foundation for the Drug-Free World, introduced by Megan Fialkoff and Dr. Ben Fialkoff, I said, wow, I remember Texas. And I remember, New York, so many young men, young women that are involved in drugs, and the drug has destroyed them, has killed them, caused them to commit crimes. I said, this is the tools that we can use, educate those young men, young women, the parents, to come out of this to have a better life. Because if you don't use drugs, you have a right mind, there's a lot of things you can do, because there was a saying that said, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And those young people have been waste their mind. So I felt that drugs education can help them restore what they lost, give them a better hope, a better life, and make them a safe community, a safe environment, safe home. Because when those people are on drugs, they steal, they kill. They don't care who they steal from. Anybody. So we can stop that by educating those young people. So that's why I got involved in it and strongly believe what's going on in my country in Haiti that can help if we continue to teach those young people, put the booklets in their hands. I believe that what's going on in Haiti right now could change.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's very interesting because in 2016, you and I traveled to Haiti and we signed a national accord with the Haitian Council of Drugs, the Canal. And we were talking about this before the show, that in those times, the people of Haiti were calm, they got along well, there was no violence. And as the years have gone on, the last few years, it's the exact opposite that's been happening, the opposite extreme. And what I wanted to ask you, what do you think has been happening in Haiti? Why has been such a drastic change where it's so unsafe now?
Well, it was lack of education, lack of means for survival, lack of employment. Those young people, young men, young women that are, we could say that grew up in the depriving area, less fortunate area where they didn't have a chance to continue their education. The literacy is about 6th to 8th grade. So the government does not offer them anything. And so they decided to, somebody offer them something better, offer them a hot meal, offer them on a weekend a little money to put in their pocket. And they put the weapons in their hand. They didn't know that this weapon gonna cause them to kill themselves, kill others. But the need was so great. So they just found out that that's the best option, because at least those gang members offer them a hot meal, offer them something. So they get in it. So as the time progressing, corruption, the men with suits that have the money, they use those young poor boys, poor girls. The girls are young men as young as 8 years old with a heavy weapon, better weapon than the police. So what do you expect? 85% to 90% schools in Haiti are private school. 80%, 90% people are unemployed. And sometimes when they get, those that finally get a job, they have to pay to get the job.
Unbelievable.
And when it's time to get paid, they couldn't get paid. And they have a family to take care of, baby mama to take care of. It just become so hard. It's just getting worse and worse every day because the government still don't do nothing.
Very impossible situation. Very, very difficult situation. I mean, I see this book that you brought to the show, and I have it here. And I'm going to show it to the viewers here because it's very interesting. It's a gift from you, Lubin Moise. And this is his booklet on, a way to happiness. And tell us a little bit, Bishop, about, why you feel this booklet would be a good solution for what's going on in Haiti?
Well, when we read this book, The Way to Happiness, in French it means Le Chemin du Bonheur. So there's a lot of people, young men, young women that are involved in drugs, crimes, and in jails. They lost their integrity, they lost their value, they lost their respect, and they lost their peace. They don't know what it is to be joyful, to have a good time, to enjoy their family. By the time they come up, they end up in jail, suffering. So this book, I believe that is a cure to heal the wounded, the sickness, the young men, young women. So I decided to put this in their hands. And I remember 2021, I had a numbers of booklets like that. And I handed out to the young men, young women. And then I got a call one day, and a young man told me that, Bishop Moise, you don't know me. I am so-and-so, so-and-so. I stopped by my cousin where you gave him a little book called Le Chemin du Bonheur, The Way to Happiness. He said, I read the book. He changed my life instantly. I said, wow, this is amazing. And then, so when he told me that, I can feel him, the tone of his voice, his understanding, it's completely changed. So he had a degree in computer science. I hired him to do translation for me. I hired him to do some of the work for me in Haiti. So his life changed. And I have another young man that called me again. He told me about page 41, 42, they're dealing with shepherds, they're dealing with pastors, they're dealing with care. And the young man disseminated the entire chapter pages to me. I said, wow. I said, do you apply it? He said, yes. I love it because I believe that can change my life. So in this time, we had about 200 booklets. And I just want to thank A.R. Lindemann for orchestrating this, Massimo Primo, and the other, Dr. Benz, and the others that collected, that put together the money to help me obtaining this booklet. It is so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Scientology. Thank you, A.R. Thank you, Massimo. Thank you, Dr. Ben, and the rest of the people that put together this book. I want to do a campaign with this book. I want to help my country, and I want to help New York City because there are so many crimes in New York City as well. I want to have about 5,000 of those The Way to Happiness booklet to put in the hands of the people. And one of the things, Dr. Ben, was so nice, and I had them on the table in the banquet on Saturday night. I noticed that no booklet remained on the table. Everybody grabbed the booklet.
Everybody took the booklets home.
Everybody took the booklet
That's
home.
beautiful.
So that will change.
Well,
change a life.
You know what? I totally agree with you. I think the book is an amazing book. I read it myself. But I was going to ask you, with what's going on in the Middle East, and people are so concerned all over the world, what do you feel is the power of this book to bring resolution?
Well, I believe that the book is great if we can put it in the hands of people here in New York and in all the 50 states, particularly the young people, the universities, the colleges, the high schoolers, and then also if there's a possible that we can find those people, those leaders. This need to go to our president office. It need to go to the Congress. It need to go to the State Department, to those leaders. This book, they need to have this book. And then we need to get this book to those countries that are in conflict as well, to the Iran, to Israel, to Palestine, to Russia, to Ukraine.
To bring humanity.
Yes, I believe that if we can do it, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to organize a group of the people to travel this area. If it may not safe now, we may cannot travel the area right now, but if we can do something here, a peace march, that we can speak peace, unity, because after all, we are God's children. After all, we are peoples of God. After all, it is better for us to live together in peace, in unity, love each other, than live as an enemy. We are making enemy. We don't need to make enemy. We need to make friends. We need to share. We need to love. We need to have a compassion. You have thousands of the children lost their life. Thousands of the women lost their life. And men that been in danger. I think we need to do better. This country, America, this country that founded upon God. Remember how God blessed this country with a famine, with a pilgrimage of turkeys. I remember how my country, Haiti, helped this country to build. And we built Chicago. Haitian built Chicago. Haitian built Spring Valley. I think we can do better. I think we in America, we can be a model for peace, not a model for war, not a model to destroy, but a model to unite.
Well, you know, Bishop, with that, I think, let me put this book for the viewers, and I want to shake your hand because your words are so powerful, as they always are. And with this book, and I really, if you come and let's put us both up on the screen, you know, let's follow what Bishop Lubin has mentioned. We have so much, but the most important thing we have is our humanity. And as Bishop has said, the United States of America, we're a symbol. We're a symbol to the world. Let's bring something that seems to have been so elusive in mankind's history. As you said, Bishop, let's bring peace. Let's bring love. Let's bring collaboration to America, to Haiti, to the Middle East, to Europe, to South America, to Africa, to South Australia, to the world. Let's do it. And let's declare 2025 the year where humanity lived in peace and celebrated in joy and happiness. Bishop Lubin, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Ben.
It's a pleasure. And for all you out there,
continue to do good work.
As he said, do your good works, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of A Time for Truth show.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. But the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet